I just realised there's something in the background I need to hide a second because of YouTube policy. So let me just do that. There we go. Right, now I'm back. Right, so the item in the background that YouTube might not have liked has gone. I'll move the camera this way to hopefully keep the other one out of frame as well. So, no idea if you'll hear me properly with this on. But a few people yesterday on the stream suggested some more gas masks, and there's that USN Mark V. Sadly, it's got a damaged filter port, but they're obviously really old anyway. Here's a Swedish Type 33. I'll take this off now so I can see clearly anyway. I cut my hair yesterday as well. But yeah, so that's a Swedish Type 33. I gave this a clean just now. Mostly just cleaning the lens with silicone like grease on both sides because it had a really sort of filthy, fogged up lens. This is quite a weird filter in this one. You always think it's going to be like a 40mm filter, and then it looks like that. So that's quite a unique filter, actually. Kind of reminds me of a combination of a World War II filter and like a modern one. Like looks modern from that side, looks old from that side. Anyway, I'll get my glasses on so I can see you properly. So yeah, all the gas masks I ended up ordering yesterday came today, which was really good. All right, Roger, thank you. Yep, all right, Connor, and all right, drink, Peeper. But yeah, so this was the one that people were interested in me getting. But I said, unfortunately, it's got a damaged filter port, but you can't really expect anything else for something so old. So this is the old like 1950s US Navy mask, which looks really ahead of its time for what it actually is. But it's as you can see, a head harness like that with a voice diaphragm there, exhale valve there, then it used dual filters. Now, how the filters worked is it's basically got these metal discs here, then the filters had rubber bits on them that, obviously you would snap on. But you can see where this filter is broken, where the rubber is just sheared off, and that wasn't me that did that. That was obviously just with age and rubber rot. So that's what the filter looks like on the side connected to the mask. Obviously, that's what it looks like on the side facing outwards. So it's a dual filter mask, and as I said, unlike, they are external filters, they're just not threaded filters. But yeah, I'll definitely be doing videos on all of these, obviously. I filmed one today already that I'm going to upload this evening, just showing all the masks I got. Because, yeah, as people were saying in the stream yesterday, the masks had been massively reduced in price on the particular site I got them from. So, they went from being, like, one of them had the original price tag on when I got it. It had, like, a £95 price tag on the box, and I think it was, like, £40 I paid for the particular mask. So, yeah, I ended up spending 200 quid on, I think it was 4 or 5 masks that came today. And, again, that's a fair bit, but obviously, if you break £200 down, like divide it by 5, that's not actually too much per mask. That one is from the States, but it's obviously where it's been in a UK thing for a while. So I think it's just more with that one. It's a case of, and some of the others, I think it's just more they're trying to shift stock. Because it seems like a lot of them are now just individually listed with quite a low price, rather than it being like, however many available at like whatever the price is. It seems like they're just, listing them individually. The worst condition ones are getting a cheaper price kind of thing. But yeah, that's good if you hadn't got any of the masks, because again, it's like with some of these masks, I'm not going to rely on them anyway because they're so old, but as long as they're in a condition where you can show them off in a video, all right. Like this mask actually probably would work. Obviously, I imagine they don't make the filters for it anymore. But like I said, because this just has weird filters. Yeah, you're right, Nick. Like I said, I've never really seen a filter like this one before, where it's like one thread on one bit, and then because it looks like a 40mm filter from that side. That's the weird bit. But that's almost like a bigger than 60mm bit, isn't it, on the inside? It's, yeah, like I said, it's a really bizarre filter design, that one. So it's actually got a replaceable filter, but it's obviously one they made uniquely for this mask to go in the weird, like, bit there. So yeah, some of them weren't labelled correctly either, because this one was labelled as Norwegian. I thought this was a Swedish mask, and then when I got it and translated it, it definitely was Swedish on the instructions on the box. So this is a Swedish Type 33 or whatever civil defence mask, which is obviously massively improved from that much older Swedish civil defence mask I have, which is literally like a World War II British mask. And like I said, that's the USN, like United States Navy Mark V diaphragm. Then I also got a Canadian C3 export model, which was a mask I wanted to get years ago, but didn't because I already had the standard C3. So then I got the export version because why not? It was like 25 quid or whatever. And then the two other masks I got were Italian World War II masks. So one's, I think, an industrial mask. The other one is basically a civil defence mask, but it's got, like the box of it, like its original bag, its filter, like a weird training thing for it. So I think how the training thing works is it's something you screw in like the mouthpiece when you're not using a filter, and then it just restricts your airflow. And I think the idea is it gets you more used to like breathing with limited air. So when you then have to actually use it in a real situation with the filter on, you're more used to like the limited air supply. But that's quite cool because obviously I can show all that in the box. Because when I first thought that, I thought, oh, is this like a thing to convert the filter to a different filter size? But then I was like, no, because there's not actually, a screw hole on the bottom of it. It's got like a hole on the side of it. So yeah, these are the ones that people recommended to me yesterday anyway. That because saying that, if we get like a GSR and then get this one, you can kind of see how like that looks like that from, this is like the retro futuristic version of this in a way. Well, this my one might actually be my FRR. Yeah, it is. But yeah, you can kind of see the similarities there actually. So yeah, there'll be a video on, like I said, I'll film a video I've already filmed the video, but there'll be a video coming out later today which shows, all of these masks, so what's in the upcoming videos. And then, yeah, I'll obviously get around to doing the individual videos on each of them when I get a chance. But like I said, it was quite good for me just because I haven't bought gas masks in ages. Obviously, I'm trying to be careful with money, so somewhere having essentially a clearance sale on masks is quite good, especially when they've got lots of the weirder masks in. Because, it's like the ones where they would have been available for ages. They just would have been at like very high prices. So it was one of those things where it paid to just wait and then get one. Like I said, at the moment, for the people who know about it, I've got like the car bills to pay at some point soon. But the really annoying thing with those is I don't actually know the exact date, I'm going to have to pay them. So it's one of those things where I'm constantly having to keep a certain amount of like cash, like liquid spare, whatever you want to say. So when I get the call to actually pick the car up, I can pay the fees. But at the moment, it's that annoying thing where sort of the bit repairs keep getting delayed or whatever. So, I'm just sort of sitting there thinking, I'd rather have it on my driveway and have paid the thing rather than, keep going, can I spend this money this month sort of thing. Nah, wouldn't count those, Nick. I mean, I don't count takeaways when I have those as anything exciting. And again, there's a lot of times when I just get a takeaway if I'm in a bit of a bad mood and I just want something, nice to cheer me up. Yeah, exactly. Same thing with a lot of the antiques, Rajiv. That when lots of things are first decommissioned, they're actually in really good condition, but they're not often that expensive because they're flooding the market. But then over time, obviously, lots of them just get lost, displaced, destroyed, either deliberately or by accident. So the rarity of finding them, like you say, goes up. They get harder to find, so the price tends to go up. But also, you're not as likely to get them in as good condition because a lot of them haven't really been looked after or they're just showing signs of age. Because with a lot of the gas masks, the rubbers on them weren't meant to last, years and years. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like with these civil defense masks, the reason like those lenses always go cloudy on these sort of masks is because these were like essentially make a mask, put it in a like canister box to hand out to a civilian, hope they never need it kind of thing. Oh, a lot of rubber hoses will smell weird, but again, it just depends. Like if they smell really bad, they shouldn't smell really bad. But obviously, old rubber can have a weird smell. If you mean a hose like that in the background, then yes, they often do have a weird smell. Yeah, like they actually look after them, yeah, rather than it being like being used as a coaster or whatever else, yeah. But yeah, because that's the thing. Like, I don't know if I've ever done a video on the gas mask. Let me search on my channel. But I have a Japanese gas mask, but it's literally one of those masks that's in such bad condition that if I ever get it out to show it, it always ends up in worse condition than it is in before. Not me deliberately trying to damage it or anything. Just that, it's been so poorly stored and was made from such cheap materials that any time it's handled, more of it is going to break apart because of like the really cheap kind of papery sort of stuff they made it from. Yeah, I've got a video on it. Japanese Type 95 gas mask with a question mark. But yeah, that's like probably my worst condition mask, because I don't even like handling it or showing it in videos because I inevitably know, you're going to hear a crunch and another bit of it's going to have just sort of fallen in on itself. Soviet Union for the most part, because they had obviously the good old fashioned GP5 type masks, like the ones on the pictures, like the mass produced very cheap civil defense masks. Oh, that's actually interesting, Nick. Yeah, but yeah, but in general, I would say the most produced masks are either ones that have been military issue for like generations, as in, countries produced a mask for like 30, 40 years and not upgraded their design. That way, they're probably churning out 10,000 plus a year of them, just go into storage for the most part. Or it's countries where, they built a load for civil defense where they thought there'd be a war. So, they ended up making millions of masks because they thought, we're going to need one for each man, woman, or child or whatever. And then, you know, missed me showing off that Swedish mask and the other mask. What closet condition, as in it's literally sat in a closet and not been played. Well, the one I showed just now was I had on in the thumbnail was a Swedish Type 33, and that's like a late Cold War Swedish civil defense mask. Again, there'll be videos coming up on all of these. The other one I did showed as well is in the background, although sadly that one's not in as good condition, is a US Navy Mark V that were being mentioned on yesterday's stream. So one of the filters is damaged and won't reattach to the mask without me gluing it on, which I don't want to do, but I can at least show how the filter ports work. No, Sean, I've got like the PAPR systems, like the things you flick on. There's one actually in the background there. You flick them on and they blow out air. Like you screw a filter into it and then you use it to make the mask positive pressure. But I don't have any actual like air tanks or anything like that. Oh, I have got rebreathers, a couple of rebreathers. So I technically have self-contained breathing apparatus and self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. But I've done one video on a new one I was given to play about with because it was completely new and I wasn't that scared of using it. But like the old Soviet ones are the type of things I would never use unless it was, an actual emergency where you die if you didn't put something on, because obviously the danger of old rebreathers is the chance they'll explode or have gone like toxic inside is quite high. Right, see you, Big Mac. I'm not going to be on for ages today because, like I said, annoyingly, I've definitely got a cold at the moment. So I've got a bit of a sore throat and everything. So when I'm talking for, decent periods of time, my throat's getting really dry and scratchy. Yeah, and then you've got all the ULEZ and all the other crap as well, haven't you, Rajiv, down there? It's been expanded, so poorer people get fucked over even more because they can't afford a new car, and now they're going to have to pay more to commute everywhere. And again, all that stuff as well is happening while public transport's getting cut in lots of places. So at the same time as you could say, oh, people could just use the buses and that. There's less buses and trains and things. I mean, I don't know so much of London because you obviously have all the Transport for London stuff, the TfL. But in a lot of other places in the UK, I know there's less buses on certain routes than there used to be and everything else. Even though the bus fares are a lot better now. So I actually have started using the bus again a lot more because the fares are actually acceptable. But in Oxford, we have had loads of issues where they've done those low traffic neighbourhood things where all they've done is shift traffic from one place to somewhere else. So the businesses on certain roads get less business because people can't park up with their cars and vans, go into a shop, and put the shopping directly into the car. But yeah, with the stuff in Oxford, there's just lots of roads where they've shoved, some plant plots blocking a road, the council in certain places, and then, now all the cars just go around a longer route, congesting another route. Yeah, apparently there's a load of lithium cars now, Nick, turning up on the second-hand market just because, people are starting to realise their batteries are dying or whatever else and want to go back to petrol or diesel. Which, again, I know people that have got electric cars and like them, but I think it depends what you're getting them for. Because, again, I just like petrol and diesel for the idea, I can fill up a tank and then you can get pretty much from the south of the UK to, somewhere in Scotland if you have a really good economical trip. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, Sean. It's like Ellie says, I look like your grandpa. Okay. I don't think I'm old enough to be your grandpa. But yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff though where businesses they had that pub the other day that had been there for hundreds of years, and then somebody buys it and burns it down so they can blatantly, then build whatever the fuck they want on it and claim insurance money. Yeah, they have improved Oxford a bit in some ways, Nick, in the sense that they've now done a massive multi-story car park that never used to be there. And I think the rates can be quite reasonable at some times a day with that. So that at least exists now. But yeah, it's the idea that there are less bus journeys. You can't park or go as close to the town centre in a car as you used to. And now, they're like, oh, but why are less people going to the shops? Because it's just really inconvenient. Oh, that's a very good thing, DIY specialist. So, you happy with it? Because, like I said, I thought you'd like it. So hopefully you've got one in your size and all that. But again, sealed filters, if they've only expired 7 years ago, that are probably still all right for a lot of things in a pinch. That's an AT4. Yeah, I can't pick it up because of the fact I'm on a YouTube live stream, and that's an instant strike or cancellation of the stream now for picking up even a deactivated gun or whatever. But yes, I've got a video on it. So it's an AT4 where the rocket's been fired from it. So it's just an empty tube, and then to further deactivate it, they've put some rods inside it so you can't load another sort of rocket in, even though you wouldn't be able to shoot it with a mechanism anyway because they're just single-use fire systems on the AT4. But yeah, it's an AT4 tube basically. Yeah, the place that seems to be doing better, weirdly, Nick, is my local sort of big village kind of place. Because that's a place where there's free parking, I think, for like 1 hour or whatever it is, and then you have to pay if you're staying, like more than an hour or 2 hours. And there's a pretty decent sized car park, like right next to a Tesco's, and a lot of the shops on the high street. So loads of people still use that because you can just park in the car park, do any like local shopping you want to do in an hour, and then get back in your car. And there's bus things there as well. Right, there'll be military and stuff. It's to do with what we were chatting about on yesterday's stream. So the one I had in the thumbnail was a Swedish Type 33 because they had that yesterday for £35, I think it was. Plus, it's like plastic container, although it's not the right one for this mask because it's a different size on the mask to the container and whatever. So there's that. In the background, as you can probably see, there's the USN Mark V that was being brought up. Unfortunately, that's got a broken filter thing on the side. So as you can see, the rubber's like rotted away on this filter thing, so you wouldn't be able to use the original filters with it. Yeah, I think a lot of them, though, they were like the last ones in of a lot of them. And then there's 3 more masks that you'll see on the video I put on later tonight. 2 Italian World War II masks, and what's the other one? The like exported version of the Canadian C3 for the Dutch, the one with like the weird little cover on the front. Yeah, again, if there's a convenient train or like bus thing, I can completely understand it. But it's just, again, there's lots of places now where there's like literally not the bus infrastructure or the trains to support people actually go into the shopping areas. Yeah, I found with a load of the Riot helmets, that some of them are weird on sizing, as in like with some of them, it's not even if like have a weird size head, but like they don't seem to fit the normal like small, medium, large sizes you think they would. Because like my first Riot helmet I got was really good in terms of like the size I got is the size I expected, and then my like more modern British Riot helmet is really weird one, as in like it's meant to be a certain size. When I checked the labels all inside it that were like obviously not replaced in, they were the original labels, it was still way too small for me. So I literally had to take all the padding out of it, get a sander and sand down like the impact foam inside for quite a while to get it to fit my head, even though according to the measurements it should fit my head fine. So that was just a really weird sizing thing. eBay if somebody's got them in stock, because again I think D&B had those for silly money still, even though they'd reduced a lot of their other masks to sensible amounts. Let me search British child's gas mask on eBay. I can see Russian ones coming up, like Soviet ones. Can't see any Let me just search World War II gas mask, and then I bet I'll get loads of things that aren't World War II gas masks. But still. There's a baby's gas mask with some bids on it. But you don't mean a baby's one, do you? You mean the actual one for like infants. Yeah, there's a load of British World War II masks coming up, but all of them seem to be the like adult ones or the very young child ones, not the ones you're on about. I've just found a price gouger. I'm not going to say what their channel like thing's called, but I found one of those blatant price gouger things where they've obviously just been buying masks up from other people for like the original prices, and then starting them at like hundreds of pounds, with like starting bid sort of prices. So yeah, because there's one of these that they've got on there like starting bid £70 that I know for certain they bought it from probably a place where it was £30 a while ago. So they've probably just been buying out other people's stock then try and like, put them in sort of silly prices, which again, I'm not a fan of people doing that because that's just price gouging. But yeah, I'm looking at the gas masks on eBay at the moment and I can't see any of the children's like Mickey Mouse style one. Anyway, I'll go back to the actual chat. Yeah, I'm all right. I've got a cold, but other than that, I'm absolutely fine. I literally just answered you, Lewis. I don't think you can is sadly the answer. Might be that one, military and stuff. Hope that's not you. If that's yeah, it's just because the starting bids seem quite high. This isn't a channel for children. That person's probably taking a piss, but saying that. But no, this isn't a children's channel. Go away. In theory, forehead only about £30 to £50 in the UK. But yeah, it's like I'm saying at the moment. Sometimes the problem is you'll see like the masks where people are just doing the thing where they've bought them when they've been sold by somebody else at a reasonable price, and then they just keep relisting them at higher prices. Right. If you want to get one, do you mean in date ones, or do you mean that are recently expired and absolutely fine? Because if you want the full packet MREs, there are a lot of websites that specially deal in that, but they're massively inflated cost for what they are. They're good if you're a channel like Steve MRE or whatever that wants to do a video on them, but they're not good if you wanted to buy them to stock them up. So what I would recommend is going on somewhere like Prepper's Shop, and they normally do bulk sales every now and again on like individual MRE meals when they're about a year out of date or they're just going out of date. And of course, you can eat those out when they're out of date. It's absolutely fine. I've eaten quite old MREs, like the ones that are in the airtight foil packets. You're not going to notice when one of those is out of date beyond its best before. But yeah, like saying the problem is if you're buying the full MRE kits, that's where lots of people tend to like sell them for like £30+ or dollars for like a day's food. So like I said, I've from a lot of surplus sites I've bought like in bulk expired MREs, but I wouldn't really bother buying the full packs, especially because I like buying lots of the cheap things, a few of each cheap thing, and then seeing which MREs I actually like without having to spend loads of money getting various meal packets. Yeah, exactly, Nick. Like I've still got a load in this room actually, which are quite good. But these are really good. The instant hot chocolates, if you ever buy those in like bulk. So technically, this one hasn't even run out. Oh, wait, this has run out of date 2 months ago, but I bought it well before 06/2023. But yeah, these. Oh, I'm going to put that on the table and have that a bit later. Actually, I've got hundreds of those in like an airtight container somewhere. All right, Peach. But yeah, like I said, Prepper's Shop in the UK are very good for the expired ones, or like soon to be expired, because that's when the prices on them get really marked down. The annoying thing is some of the MREs I really like seem to be the ones other people like. So they're the ones you always find that when sellers get them in, they've sold out really quickly. Ah, that's cool, Peach. I've only got this shirt on because when I was looking through my drawer the other day, as you can see, I've already got it a bit dirty there. So that's Vic. I can smell it's Vic. Yeah, Vic smell. Because I've been putting so much Vic around my chin and everything recently. So it should wash out fine. But yeah, that was just because when I went through my t-shirt drawer, it ended up being like the t-shirt on the top. So it was the one I put on before I even realised I'd actually be doing a video in it. Yeah, so again, you can get sometimes good stuff priced like that, but like I said, then you also have the problem of the like people who will look at people's listings like that, buy out all their listings, and then they'll just start sticking them back on for a higher price. Like what happened with PlayStation 5s essentially. Yeah, there are still good civilian MREs. Like the ones I really like that are like not military MREs but are civilian ones are those ones. Oh, was it? Is it Expedition Foods? It's like one of those. I can't remember which company it is, but they have the freeze dried like dehydrated food in like a foil packet, and you literally, if you want it hot, you pour boiling water in it and reseal it. You know, give it a shake and let it stand for a couple of minutes. If you want it cold, you just use whatever temperature water. And those taste really, really good for, you know, something that's dehydrated, you've rehydrated. Like some of those actually have better chicken in than, you know, like proper food does. Yeah, I really like oatmeal blocks. I finally found a company that does the equivalent of the oatmeal block, like individually, because Litchfield Biscuits and some of those other biscuit companies do them in like multi packs, and they're my favourite ones, like the golden syrup oat, you know, like oatmeal block type ones. But they're always the ones that, like, you know, I eat first and then want more of, but you can never buy them individually. So I found some places that sell them individually now, but they're quite expensive. But yeah, oatmeal blocks are another ones. But yeah, that's like the Russian version of it. That again, I like when they're in thing. The one I really like is the cookies and cream MRE bar. So it's like a cereal bar kind of thing. It's like a Rice Krispie cereal bar, but it's like cookies and cream flavor essentially. You know, so like if you've ever had like cookies and cream, like whey protein powdery stuff or any of that, or like cookies and cream milkshake, some places do. It's kind of like that flavor. Oh, I've got a load of the rice pudding ones as well. I bulk bought loads of those from Prepper's Shop. Now you've reminded me. Um, yeah, Prepper Shop a while ago, I bought like I think it was like 50 packets of the rice puddings, and you know, like every now and again, I'll open a couple of packets at once and just pour them into a container and heat them in the microwave. I were making people hungry. Oh, it's done a hopefully it's cotton, but yeah, I'd still never trust any of that old stuff. You know, like if there's countries that used asbestos in their other products, you know, when you see something that, even if you look at it under a microscope, looks quite dodgy, you know, I that's when I just not want to breathe through it. Because even if it doesn't turn out to be asbestos, if it's that old and flaky, it's not going to do your lungs good anyway. Yeah, mesothelioma is the word I can't pronounce. Go-to zombie apocalypse weapon in the UK, probably a crossbow, because I got a load of those. But again, I don't even know what the YouTube policy is on showing them on the stream anymore, because I think Mike got in trouble for showing a bloody crossbow, didn't he? Um, because I think Forehead F-150, they were kind of one of those masks where if you were to buy them a while ago, they were good prices, but now they're just inflated in price. Well, that is probably because Eds or Eads, because I actually, you know, have a blue collar job. Like every time I'm actually doing physical work for money, it is always just, you know, the kind of jobs of picking shit up, moving it around kind of jobs. Because like I said before, as much as I'm interested in academic sort of stuff, I could never do that as a job. It would just piss me off. But yeah, thank you anyway. But yeah, let me have a look at Prepper's Shop at the moment and just see what they've got in. Again, like I shouldn't be spending the money on even more MREs at the moment, but if they've got in some of the ones I actually like. I'm just trying to work out on this site where the let's go on the clearance bit first. Yeah, they've got the juice drink things on their clearance. Apparently, those self-heated coffees are quite good to put in like backpacks. You know, they've got some boots quite cheap actually on there. Yeah, on some of their clearance, they've got some pretty good stuff on there. Again, sadly, I don't have room for a lot of this stuff. Like the dive suits look pretty good. Yeah, the US military combat boots that they've got new look fairly good, but annoyingly, I bet they'd be hard for me to fit without actually trying them on first. Because with a lot of boots and things like that, I really have to try them on before, getting boots, because of the fact that like my shoe size can really vary on things. Anyway, let me see where bulk buys. Sometimes that's the good stuff for the MREs. Yeah, they still do the times 20 military ration meals for £60. That's fairly good. So you're paying what, like is that like £3 a MRE meal, which isn't bad if there's a flavour you really like. Yeah, I'm just looking at what they've got on there at the moment. Yeah, and some of the stuff they have on this X section is just more like catering food anyway, if it's not the proper MRE ones. But again, some of that catering stuff is quite good if you're buying it in bulk, because it's designed, for restaurants to then sell it at profit. Yeah, they've got the hot chocolate sachets times 200 for £46 when they're in stock. Let me just search though on their website. What one is it? Cookie. Let me just search. Cookie and cream. Oh, out of stock. Yeah, military cookie and cream protein bars times 40 for £40, but out of stock. Yeah, the cookies and cream British MREs are the ones I really like. No, I haven't, Ed, but I don't use TikTok at all. So there you go. If something's on TikTok, I wouldn't know. Sometimes you can get them even cheaper than that, but again, it's like the bulk buy convenience thing is sometimes why you do that. Like if you find an MRE you really like, because they're basically the MRE equivalent of those bars that cost like between £2 to £4 to £5 in the supermarkets. The sort of other branded kind of whey protein bars. They're basically the same thing. It's just Rice Krispies with loads of protein powder and mixed with like a strong flavouring thing. Let me look them up, because off the top of my head, SGE gas masks, I don't actually know. I don't think I've ever used any of them, in all honesty. Oh, so it's Mestel is the company that makes them. I mean, I like the look of those because I've seen those before, but I don't think I've ever owned one. That does remind me, though, a bit. The 400 free does remind me of that really good Russian mask I had. What was that called? Was it Zelensky Mag gas mask? Something like that. Zelensky Mag. Yeah, the Zelensky .mag 9 was, and there's a few other like Zelensky Mag masks. But again, sadly, because of Mr. Monkey starting his special needs operation, good luck getting those out of Russia for a good price. But yeah, because it was one of the Zelensky Mag ones, I think, that was actually the one that literally has like really strong polycarbonate as the face shield thing. So it's a bit like that Spaciani that I really, really like in the background there. So yeah, this mask that I really, really like, it's one that's very similar to that, but it's made from such strong polycarbonate on the front that there's videos where people have tested, like hitting them with things, and there's things that like some certain face shields wouldn't stop, and the mask stops one hit without actually breaking. That repeated hits would break the mask, and then obviously contaminate you or whatever, but it's the fact that, you know, there's a mask that essentially has a riot shield as its front cover. I've got a reproduction pith helmet of a sort of British Zulu style one that I've worn that in a video before. But yeah, this is actually one of my favourite masks, weirdly, ever, even though, again, it's not even a military mask, really. But yeah, this one I just really like because it's, you know, fairly comfortable for what it is. You've got a very, very good field of vision with it. Again, fairly strong face piece. Very easy to pressure check it. Oh yeah, it's got the thing I always like in a mask, which is one of those sort of chin strap, sort of neck strap things you can just literally have on it. So when you're not wearing a mask, you can have it like that. You know, so if you're using it for a job type environment, you can literally put it on, put it off quite a lot without having a bag like strapped to your waist or whatever. And then, yeah, weirdly like that, there was this Chinese rip-off of a 3M mask I really liked that's a very similar type design. If I just put a filter on that one to show you. Again, we're going back to like the COVID videos. So I was just showing people masks I like the designs of. Again, this needs a dust by the look of it on the inside. Hopefully it's just on the outside. But again, this had quite a good design for what it was for a cheap Chinese one. I wish I had more adjustable straps, but for what it is, this one's actually pretty good as well. Like, you know, one of those sort of cheap Chinese industrial style masks. This one was actually pretty competent. But like I said, the Spaziani though, and I was just showing, that's actually really, really bloody good. It's like one of those masks, or if you spot one for a good price, I'd say just get one. You can do if you want. It will keep it lasting longer, again, but I'd always say, you know, if you want a filter for an emergency, have a filter that's in date and sealed that you keep in like the mask satchel or whatever, so you can just open it and put it on. But yeah, a Ziploc bag isn't a bad idea if you want to, you know, preserve the length of the filter you've got, which seems to work all right. Italian M90, I don't think I do. Let me Google it and I'll tell you if I've got ever even handled one. The answer to that is going to be no, sadly. No, the closest I've used to something like that was when I was allowed to borrow a German M2000 and whatever it was. But anyway, yep. Italian M59, let's look that one up. Because again, there's lots of masks like that where sometimes you get the weird thing where there's like individual masks in the series which are just rarer than others. Oh yeah, I've seen those for sale before. Again, that's one of those masks where I kick myself because I didn't buy one at the time, you know, when I've seen one at a good price. Yeah, because again, there's some I can see for sale at the moment that look okay-ish condition, like not brilliant. For like €60 sort of price, £50, which isn't too bad. But again, it's the sort of thing where I think at one point there was a UK seller in that had a few for like £30 each. And again, it's one of those things where didn't have the available money at the time, or, you know, didn't want to buy it at the time, and then afterwards thought, well, I wish I bought it. Yeah, I've seen loads of them that do that. Yeah, it's because the Soviet Union just built so much of stuff like that, and then it just got sealed in those places. Any 40mm NATO filter, Assassin 47 will fit the FM12 because the FM12 is just a standard, like, NATO 40mm. Right, anyway, I'll be off now. Thanks for coming on, everybody. I've managed 45 minutes with a bit of a sore throat, so that's not bad. I'm going to put some more Vic under my throat in a minute. I'm going to have one of these MRE hot chocolates, I think, because that should hopefully not irritate my throat. But yeah, I'll upload the video. Cheers, Iron Man and everybody else. And Roger, I'll upload the video later tonight, the one that's going to show all the masks that will be in the upcoming videos that I got on that haul yesterday. So see you all well later if I'm in the comments at all in the video I upload later. If not, when I next do a stream or when I catch people in the comments at random points. See ya.